Many people's ultimate resting place is in a cemetery once they pass away. Cemeteries may be found all over the world, and while many of them are rather ordinary, with carved tombstones designating the location of each person's final resting place, some of them can be quite special and odd. There are many completely typical cemetery with a few odd tombstones, but there are also some that are just plain bizarre. These cemeteries are either in odd locations, include just peculiar gravestones, or have some intriguing residents. In many cemeteries, the tombstones highlight the honorable parts of a person's life. They include their names, dates of birth and demise, and a brief statement about how they were a cherished friend, partner, or family member. However, hundreds of wooden crosses that are adorned slightly differently may be found in Sapanta, Romania. These crosses feature a painted portrait of the deceased person, sometimes showing the manner in which they died, along with a light-hearted remark or poem commemorating their lives. They humorously display a person's weaknesses as opposed to concealing them. When it was first constructed, the Crowley tomb was just a regular tomb. In Decatur, Georgia, a Walmart parking lot is where you may find it. It was formerly situated on a portion of the farmland that the Crowley family possessed in the 19th century, according to them. The property was bought so that a mall could be constructed there when the family had to sell it owing to financial difficulties in the 1960s. Today, a Walmart may be seen just next to the Crowley Mausoleum, where the family is interred. The Philippines is an exceptionally unique nation. Traditional burial practices in several regions of the country are one component of this incredibly fascinating culture. The Igorot tribe of Mountain Province has traditionally practiced this burial custom in the northern region of the Philippines. The tribe's deceased members' bodies are placed in coffins and then hung on a mountainside, as opposed to being buried under the ground in burial caskets. This custom is based on the idea that being raised into the air will bring a person closer to their ancestors, and enable them to transition to the afterlife more easily than being buried beneath where moisture and earth will enter their coffin. Chiesa dei Morti, which means, Church of the Dead, in English, is a name that fits this place quite well. More than a dozen different mummies keep watch inside this cathedral, which is situated in Urbania, Italy. The Brotherhood of Good Death, which was established in the 16th century and is responsible for caring for the mummies, offers tours to visitors during which it describes every mummy's history in detail. Since the beginning of the 19th century, these mummies have all been displayed in glass cases for visitors to view. Just a few miles east of Key Biscayne, off the coast of Florida, is the sizable artificial reef known as the Neptune Memorial Reef. It is being built 40 feet beneath the surface to resemble a long-forgotten metropolis on the sea floor. What makes this environmentally friendly art installation a peculiar cemetery? It was given a spot on this list as a result of the cremated bones of people's loved ones being mixed with concrete and buried in this reef with a memorial. This cemetery combines a one-of-a-kind work of art, a means of honoring deceased loved ones, and a means of ensuring that the fish residing in this region of the ocean have an environment in which they may flourish. This cemetery offers guests a truly unique area to relax and eat. It is situated in Ahmedabad, India. Although the food at this restaurant is renowned for being excellent, it isn't what actually draws customers. The exposed sarcophagi in the restaurant's floor are what actually pull customers in. Although no one is certain who is buried in these graves, many people think that it was probably a person who lived in the 16th century. When he was developing his restaurant, the owner of this establishment had a difficult decision about the graves to either be demolished or incorporated within the design. A distinctive cemetery that combines a variety of customs from several civilizations into one extremely intriguing cemetery can be found not far from Anchorage, Alaska. The Danina tribe formerly resided in that region, but after Russian Orthodox missionaries settled there, the two cultures merged for the locals. The Danina tribe would cremate their departed loved ones before the arrival of the Russian Orthodox missionaries. They began burying them, though, when the traditions converged. They would cover the grave with a blanket first. After that, a vibrant house is constructed to both shelter their spirit and serve as a memorial to the individual who was interred there. Numerous corpses are kept in the Voisin American Cemetery in France. These bodies belong to American soldiers who died in battle in northern France during World War I. Plots A through D contain information like that, however Plot E is significantly less well-known and rarely visited. Rather than being interred in the first 4 plots of this cemetery, a little less than 100 dead were placed in Plot E and largely forgotten. This location is known as an anti-memorial because it contains the remains of soldiers who were found guilty of war crimes during World War II and were buried here. Perla Cemetery is located in Paris, France, and isn't necessarily a strange cemetery in the way that the others in this list are. Instead, this cemetery is strange because of the iconic bodies that have been laid to rest in it. Along with its famous inhabitants, this is often visited and gifts for the most famous residents are often left by visitors. Who has been laid to rest in the Perla Cemetery? A ton of famous people throughout history, many of whom have tombs and markers that depict something about their lives. From Jim Morrison to Oscar Wilde and a ton of other famous names, there's a lot to see in Perla Cemetery. This cemetery, which is particularly special and attracts plenty of visitors, is situated in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's not particularly a bizarre cemetery, despite the fact that it's vast and popular with visitors from all over the world. The graves here are guarded by mechanisms known as mortsafes, which is what really makes this area interesting. In this cemetery, cages called mortsafes have been erected over a few graves. They are actually there for the exact opposite purpose, despite giving the impression that they are there to prevent zombies from emerging from the dead. To prevent theft from graves, they were positioned over the bodies to prevent anyone from digging them up.